There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, and never left you stealing me, I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. Now, Bill Gates is not the only Bill that I've been observing, and not the only Bill that I find kind of disturbing. Let's go back to the year 1986 and meet the 99th Congress. What a bunch of dicks. They came up with H.R. 4456, the Child Vaccination Act. And here's a wild, fascinating fact. If your company that you own and they supply the vaccine, somebody died, nobody gets tried in a court of law at all. Problem solved. No retribution, no legal solution. You all scot-free. Watch me. Hop on a plane with Mr. Epstein. Now boarding the Lolita Express. Whoa, look over there, man. Is that Eminem and Stephen Colbert? And look, it's the two Bills, Clinton and Gates. Oh man, and they look like they're hitting on that girl that we met on the plane, the one that was with Ghislaine. I think her name was Courtney. Shit, she's only 14. We need to get the fuck up out of here. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me and never left you stealing me, I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Now, let's say that you've got a foundation, and almost all your donations, they're directed toward the containment of a particular contagion. And one of your experts, he's kind of grouchy, his name is Mr. Fauci. He comes up with an equation. Fear plus persuasion equals the creation of a frightened nation whose panic and lack of education and only wanting just some protection from this agent of infection, they head in your direction and they ask Mr. Bill for their injection. Wanting just protection from this agent of infection. Why don't you go get your shine box? Your direction. Go get your fucking shine box, Tony. Injection. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me and never left you stealing me, I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Dear Bill, I wrote you, but I keep getting returned to sender. I've even tried your wife Melinda, but she's putting a block on my calls. There's a rumor she might have a cock and balls. I apologize for the cursing. I guess you two are never in the same room at the same time, so people think you might be the same person. But anyway, fuck it, man. What's been up? How's the vaccine biz? I know you wish that everybody was on board like Maxine is. Oh, guess what? My wife's pregnant again. You remember Myrtle? Yeah, I always seem to wind up with the skanks. And what's up with you having 3 kids? I thought Melinda was infertile and you were shooting blanks. And what's up with all these tanks? I see them being transported on a train. Is that for martial law? This shit's getting insane. You remember when I met you in New Delhi and you were complaining that it was really smelly? Well, I asked you if it was safe getting that polio vaccine and you said I was making a great decision. Yeah, well, my daughter's okay, but my son Micah, he lost his vision. Yeah, it's been some time and a lot of tears now. And Micah, he's been blind for years now. He's gotten pretty good at walking with a cane, though. Anyway, hit me up, yo. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me and never left you stealing me, I feel your divinity
Hello, everybody, and how you all doing? It is Monday, and we are back at it. All right, let me turn that up a little bit so I can hear myself. All right, well, I was first in chat, apparently. Or Riddle Girl was, one of the two of us, right?
It was me.
Yeah, I know. I know you were. Yeah, I know. Anyway, Broken Patriot, what's up? How you doing? Gerald B is glad that he checked out his homepage just now because your bell hasn't shown this yet. Ouch. Hello, ladies and gents, says QL. Hello, QL, how you doing? And Real Girl says, oh boy, Gerald, shadow banned, and we haven't even gotten started yet. And Gerald B says, now it just lit up. And see, that's one of the reasons why I like putting in a 5-minute countdown timer. It lets me get everything ready last minute. And it also allows you guys to get your notifications for those who are part of the notification squad. I don't have the sound effect, and I apologize for trying to do that noise. That means we're winning. Okay, cool. And QL, I saw something this weekend I never thought I would see. A group of people actually understanding what we've been saying for so long. I do believe that there is a great awakening movement going on. 2020 has been an eye-opener for a lot of reasons. A lot of people are getting into prepping now because they see that the whole just-in-time shipping is not such a great idea after all, right? And they're also getting woken up politically because they see the politicians saying to do one thing, but then doing something else themselves, right? They're also like, well, why are casinos and liquor stores open, but churches are not? You know, and I think people are starting to be woken up a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of people who just want to have their head in the stand. You can't change them, but I don't know. RG Homestead is in the house. Thank you for always wishing us well. I hope you're doing well yourself, sir. Joe B, yesterday sucked. I watched Trump in New Hampshire, and I didn't know when he left there. He was at an apple orchard only about 15 minutes drive from me. Oh, okay. Would you have gone and seen him if you could have? I mean, technically, it's still the president of the United States, right? I've gone to a rally of his here in Phoenix, and I'm glad I went. At the time, I supported him. That was before the whole bump stock ban, right? And before the whole take guns first, due process second. One win today. Now we'll see in 8 days. 8 days. Yeah, that is pretty soon. That's very soon. 8 days until the election. How many days until you think we know who wins the election? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I might be the only one, but for some reason, I think we are gonna know who wins on the night of the election, like normal. I think it's just gonna be so overwhelming, one way or the other, that there won't really be much questions to it. I could totally be wrong. Probably will be. And that's just a gut feeling, right? I have nothing to back that up. If I had known Trump was going to be this close, the wife and I would have made a quick trip. Yeah, I mean, it's the president, right? It's still cool. I would have seen Obama if he, held rallies that I don't know. I was never really interested. I'm sure he came to Arizona. I never really cared. Prepare for civil war. Yeah. You should definitely prepare for unrest. How far it goes. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and hopefully somewhere in the middle. Right? And hopefully we don't have any of that, to be honest, because really we don't want it. We don't want it. So a little personal stuff going on with me. This weekend was kind of interesting and not at the same time. Once again, y'all know about my, some of you that joined the Bible study-ish chat that I do on Saturday nights talked about the homeless person that decided to drop a deuce in our yard. And that whole experience, and that was why we were wearing tack vests on the night of the debate. Tonight, we are also on high alert because our neighbor, who's a nice guy and a conservative, he's always wearing his Trump hat, so, I mean, he's not all great, but he's not all bad either. He goes around and he he's got an alley behind his house that homeless people leave stuff in, and he always clears it out because he, wants to discourage them from sticking around the area. So he'll just take their stuff and throw it away or whatever, and that hopefully they get the message after a couple of times that happens. Well, today he pulls up in front of our house. I mean, he's right across the street from us anyway. He pulls up across the house from or right up to our place, and then starts talking about, do you have any place where I can put some of these extra bottles? Because I guess one of the people that he took their stuff had collected a whole bunch of plastic bottles and aluminum cans. And so he wanted to drop off the bottles. But we were like, well, we're more interested in those aluminum cans. So, we were taking those, and here comes the guy that wants them, and he's being all confrontational. And that was a whole ordeal. Nothing really happened, but the guy kept coming back, kept staring us down, kept studying the area, kept coming back and starting to talk crap, stuff like that. And so we're pretty much on high alert. And then even later on in the day, he came back again, and I had to run him off, with a little bit of a threat of don't come back, keep walking. And now, I don't know. The way he kept coming back, even though he's seen a dog, he's seen that we were armed, the neighbor had a bat, there's multiple, and he keeps coming back. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this one, so I'm going to be up tonight a little bit later, just patrolling and making sure nothing happens. My channel is blowing up. 13, wow, you got another 350. You guys remember when Broken Patriot got 1,000? That's cool, dude. Congrats. My channel is stagnant. All right, let me scroll up. So yeah, that's one thing that happened today. Here, there, Warrior for Truth. Yeah, Warrior for Truth. Okay. What's up, Warrior for Truth? Hear you, Gerald. Biden went back into hiding again, canceled most everything this week. Really, I know that he got some of his... We have some stories about what happened this weekend. You voted today, OMG? All right. I also heard a report that there's a lot of conservatives voting early, which I'm not a fan of doing that anyway, because I want to feed the machine myself. Did you hear the rumor that Biden had a stroke and Hunter was dead? No, I did not. I can't believe it, Broken Patriot. That's awesome, bro. That is seriously awesome. 350 extra subs for Broken Patriot. Well done. Well done. Trace Cannon, you voting for Trump? Yeah, probably. Not that I'm happy about it, but yeah, probably. What's up, Trace Cannon? I hope you enjoy the program, or whatever you want to call this video, live video. Congratulations. Everybody's giving you congrats. Sounds like he's stalking you. Oh, the guy, yeah, the homeless guy. Yeah, I ain't playing around, man. And the last encounter I had with him is the one that I told him to keep on walking. And he, I don't know, all sorts of hand signals. And he kept coming forward and then going back, and then coming forward and going back, like he was trying to psych himself up to go for it. You know what I mean? That's what it seemed like to me, that he was trying to psych himself up. He was trying to amp himself up enough to actually go for it. But the better of him started like, dude's got a gun. Dude's got a dog. Dude's got a bat. You know what I mean? I don't know. I did a video about Hunter Biden. It's at 18,000 views. Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I think I need to be doing videos, not live streams. I don't know. The live streams are great. I love the interaction. I absolutely love the interaction. It's like the best part of it. But, I would get a lot more views if I did just little short videos y'all could watch throughout the day, I've actually even thought about doing the live chat and then editing the segments into smaller videos and doing that, but that'd be a lot of work, to be honest. I mean, not a horrible amount of work, but a little bit of work. And I'm already got another channel I'm working on too. Hey there, Trace Cannon. Trace Cannon. Oh, yeah, we already saw Trace Cannon. I wanted the coin. What coin?
The one that you gave away to get Broken Patriot up to 1,000 subs.
Yeah. Did you get one of the the Mercury dimes that we gave away on the first debate? I hope you did. We gave away pretty much everybody that was in that chat got a Mercury dime.
Yep.
You know? And I gave as good a quality Mercury dimes as I had. So hopefully you got one of those. Unfortunately, you know, I only got so many silver coins. And I don't want to give away my whole stash. You know what I mean? And it's not bringing in any new subscribers. It's just something I do, you know, to be nice. Not to be nice as much as it's fun. It's fun for me to have a contest. It was fun that night to have that contest for the Mercury dimes. And I thought, you know, for those who don't collect silver, it's a cool little, you know, historical thing. Or monetary thing. I mean, you can sell it too. It's not worth a ton of money. It's like at the time I think it was like $1.50, $2 for the dime. Dude is huge. Kitty Cam. Northern is very photogenic. Yeah, she is. And I don't know what you mean, dude is huge.
Tim Pool does kitty cam, I guess.
Tim Pool has a kitty cam? Since when? Yeah. I know I've been talking about it having a kitty cam for a long time, but I still don't have another camera, and I'm not buying one. I have bought a few things, but the camera is not one I've been looking at lately for some reason. What's up, QL? Fell asleep? Oh, okay. That's what Tim Pool does with his podcasts. Oh, I think he means that he takes the stories and then chops them up or something. I don't know, maybe. Our cat is 12 pounds. Is she 12 pounds? Wow, that's a fat cat. Don't forget to hit that like button, says RG. Thank you, RG. I think I might do a 2,000 giveaway. Is bringing a lot of subs in. Oh, you're okay. The 80% lower. By the way, if you guys didn't know about that, Broken Patriot won the aluminum paperweight when we had that contest. And since he's not going to use it himself, he's going to turn around and use it in his contest for when he gets to 2,000 subs, which, dude, you're already a little bit away there. What do you guys think about the election? I don't know, man. I'm hoping that it goes off smoothly. I hope that we don't have like civil unrest afterwards. That's my biggest hope. Tim is a fool. Tim's a Democrat who doesn't fit in his own party anymore. Yes, make videos of his podcast. Okay, great. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. First and foremost, Adulterous North Carolina Senate nominee Cunningham is still in hiding, apparently living with his sister. I didn't even hear about this until I read this story, or at least part of it. North Carolina, anybody in North Carolina? I know I have friends in North Carolina, but they're probably not in the chat. Senate candidate Cal Cunningham is bypassing uncomfortable questions about his extramarital activities in the final days of his closely contested race with the GOP Senator Tom Tillis, and evidence indicates the Democratic nominee is no longer living at his Raleigh home with his wife. Citing residents with knowledge of Cunningham's whereabouts, NationalFile.com reported he has been staying at his sister's since October 10th. An early morning photo on October 22nd showed him emerging from his sister's home to get into a car that had arrived to pick him up. National File reported that observers have seen a pattern of Cunningham repeatedly leaving early in the morning and returning later in the day. Whether his reclusive strategy alters the outcome of what now is the most expensive U.S. Senate race in history, and this is why I decided to cover this, because supposedly there's a lot of money in this race, will depend on whether swing voters are set on removing Tillis and potentially ending GOP control of the chamber, even if it means a replacement facing a sex scandal. Hey, aren't we supposed to believe all women? It's funny how that works until it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Riddle. In fact, I saw a thing, I think it was from Mid Wesley. He's also known as The Quartering here on YouTube. I haven't seen the video, but the title of the video was Hollywood is upset about the whole cancel culture because they're getting canceled now, so they want to cancel culture, but it's a little bit too little too late. Interesting. Clearly, Cunningham has made a self-inflicted wound, but the question is, what are voters really going to be focused on down the stretch? Asked Thomas Mills, a longtime Democratic consultant not involved in the race. Cunningham acknowledged 3 weeks ago that he exchanged sexually suggestive texts with a woman who is not his wife. A few days later, the Associated Press reported additional texts and interviews confirming that they had intimate encounter as recent as July, while Cunningham was deep in a hard-fought campaign. Since then, Cunningham is largely stuck to a tight, controlled virtual calls with interest groups that back him and small, unannounced in-person appearances so reporters can't ask questions. During one online news conference he held, the Raleigh attorney and U.S. Army Reserve officer refused to directly answer whether he had other affairs. I've taken responsibility for the hurt that I've caused in my personal life. I've apologized for it, Cunningham told reporters on October 9th. I've said what I'm going to say about it. So I already said I was sorry, and that's all I'm going to say about that. No. Don't you understand what Me Too and cancel culture is all about? You have to say you're sorry many times and beg, literally get on your knees and beg for forgiveness. That's the only way you get around that. Meanwhile, a pro-Tillis PAC has launched a billboard campaign asking for anyone inappropriately involved with Cunningham to contact a website to share their story. That's hilarious. Okay. Anybody know about this story? Anybody following this story? I'm kind of curious. I will be glad when I don't see political ads anymore. Well, that's actually not a great thing for you, Broken Patriot, is it? I mean, you're doing a political channel. Tis the season for political channels, bro. Tis the season. I think regardless of who wins, I still have faith that the Lord will sustain us and everything will be okay. Well, we are okay in Christ if you believe in God. Other than that, he doesn't promise to keep you safe, but I mean, you shouldn't be worried about what goes on in this world as much as you should be worried about what goes on the next. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that. You can tune in on Saturday nights if you want to hear more about stuff like that. Benji Master, hey y'all, it's IHOP. What's up, IHOP? Yet another channel. Okay. Son, changed my name again and your thumbnail, or not your thumbnail, your icon, I guess, too. QL, because people really like seeing our cat in the background and often ask to see her up close. Oh, so you're responding to why kitty cam?
Yeah.
QL. Why would you do yeah. It wouldn't be something that would be on all the time. It would be something that I could queue up and click over and it'd be a pop-up window, something, you know. I don't know. Maybe. Because obviously she's not always up there, but sometimes she is. Let's see. If we're lucky, we'll know the winner by Thanksgiving. You think it's going to take... Oh, boy, I hope you're wrong. I hope it doesn't take that long. The election will be rigged, says Warrior for Truth. Every election has some fraud. This one will probably have the most fraud we've ever seen. I mean, there's just so many ways to defraud it. And you have at least one party who is arrogantly trying to defraud it even more. Because they have to have the power. They have to get back in power. They cannot stand it that they're not in power. No, I mean Tim having a kitty cam. Oh, okay. I didn't know he had one. I don't think he does. Maybe that comment was misunderstood about... Yeah, I don't know. Well, I shared a video on Facebook last night. Biden said the Democrats have the election fixed. Did he? QL wants to see that. Cal is not winning. I think it was from Sky News Australia. Found it in here last night. Okay, cool. Antifa attacks Jews for a Trump parade in New York City. Lovely. Yeah, because, you know, they've got laws against carrying in New York City, so they're probably a lot more emboldened there. Just my own opinion on that. Antifa activists attacked a Jews for Trump convoy of hundreds of cars draped with the American flags and Trump 2020 banners rolled slowly through Manhattan and Brooklyn on Sunday afternoon. The caravan traveled from Coney Island to the Trump Tower in Manhattan before heading to a rally in Brooklyn Park. Videos shared on Twitter showed several attackers pelting the vehicles with eggs or stones, snatching flags and shouting insults. A family of 7 was pepper sprayed by rioters. Immediately, the kids started crying and screaming, and I jumped out of the car after I was sprayed as well, another participant in the parade said. In one video showing physical fights between several people, police officers detained an unidentified man and protesters chant, "Let him go." Oh, by the way, talking about civil unrest, Seattle has military police going right now to their getting ready for after the election too. I think I was thinking about doing that story. I don't know if I did or not. I might have. No, I didn't do that one. Another video shows a small group of people throwing objects from a Brooklyn highway overpass at vehicles decked with Trump flags. It's an all-out fight. Antifa militants broke through police barricades, to attack Trump supporters and pro-police demonstrators. Wow, they went through a barricade to do it. Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, briefly greeted supporters from the passenger seat of a car driving near Trump Tower during the parade, the video shows. New York police said 7 people were taken into custody in connection with the physical confrontations in Times Square. Charges were pending Sunday night. I'm sure they let them all go. According to the Jews for Trump website, Sunday's rally was intended to show solidarity with the beleaguered red zone community, a reference to the Rona hotspots designated by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo as areas where schools and non-essential businesses must close to prevent the spread of the Rona. The rally follows weeks of tensions in Brooklyn Orthodox Jewish neighborhoods over the Rona restrictions. Yeah, because you have the First Amendment, the right to assemble, and the freedom of religion. So I don't care how many people it saves. You're going against the Constitution. You do not do that. We have never done that for any kind of illness before, especially one that it's 99.5% survivable. Heshley Teschler, a city council candidate and leader of the Brooklyn protest against the restrictions, promoted Sunday's car parade on Twitter. Boris Estefan, an advisor to the Trump campaign and co-chair of the Jewish Voices for Trump, organized Sunday's rally in Brooklyn Main Park in car parade. Okay, cool. All right, 6 more subs just now. Wow. Maybe we got a few people watching that weren't subscribed to you. Maybe. Or maybe you just do it. I mean, it could be that video. You said it's got a lot of views, right? So there you go, man. Way to go. I'd like to take credit, but most likely it's that video. Because every once in a while you get those videos that blow up, and it sounds like you got one right now. And that's awesome, man. Take advantage of it. It reinvigorates you. At least it did for me, right? I haven't had one of those in forever, but it's kind of nice. I have it on my other channel right now, which is kind of cool. My mom told me the Dems were taking young voters in limos in Florida. Really? Don't surprise me. Get some free stuff if you vote for us. It's so sad. I hope they see through that. I don't know, man. I'll have them voting Democrat for the rest of their lives, and then they just started giving you free stuff ever since then. And now, the party of Jim Crow, the party of the South, the party of the slavery states is now what most minorities think of as the nicer of the politicians, right? And they vote for them. Why? Because that's what they're supposed to do. And why are they supposed to do it? Because their parents did it. And why did their parents do it? Well, because they got free stuff. And who doesn't like some free stuff? Heck, I like free stuff. Unfortunately, nothing in this world is free. And it all comes with a price. My neighbor said Trump is her god. Oof. That's bad. I'm searching for more Hunter Biden stuff. Yeah, I bet I would too. It's apparently blowing up. Maybe I should have titled this that. Although I've titled quite a few of these chats that. So I don't know what it is. I was proud of my mother. She was talking to me about Gates and Soros, how the Rona was their doing. Now that for my mother is a breakthrough. Now that for my mother is a breakthrough. That's cool. So is she not usually super woke? Or is she just now kind of getting red pilled? That's kind of cool. So Senate Dems tried to push the GOP colleagues over an imminent SCOTUS vote. So I guess they were getting upset. Now, obviously, she's confirmed now, but this was earlier. They vowed overwhelmingly Sunday to advance Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett towards final confirmation, despite Democratic objections just over a week before the presidential election. Barrett's confirmation on Monday was hardly in a doubt, but Democrats were poised to keep the Senate in session into the night in attempts to stall, arguing that the November 3rd election winner should choose the nominee to fill the vacancy left by the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Republicans are excited by the chance to install, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to read this whole thing. The pending decision will determine whether the law is servable from the mandate since the Trump administration abolished the latter. Okay, that's the Obamacare. So they were just balking about it. They didn't really do anything, I'm guessing. No. Okay. What's up, Transphibian? Welcome. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad to see you again. Trump ain't no god, but he's the better of the ones running. Yeah. That's my opinion. It's always been my opinion in politics anyway, that you got to pick the lesser of two evils. And that's what I'm doing this election cycle. I liked Trump originally. Back in 2012 when he thought about running, but he didn't. I was really sad that he didn't. In 2016 when he ran, I was more in support of Ben Carson for my own personal reasons. And I really liked Ben Carson. I still think he's an excellent person and a human being. And if he ever ran for president, even though he has some gun issues things too, I think this country would be a lot better off with Dr. Ben Carson as president. But he didn't run. I mean, he didn't win the nomination. Trump did. And you know what? I had a good friend at the time who convinced me to give Trump another chance, even though I was like more on Ben Carson's side. So I did. I jumped on the Trump bandwagon. Unfortunately, my friend passed. I think that if he was alive today, he'd probably be pretty upset with Trump too. But at the same time, he'd still vote for him because of the same reasons, right? What's the other option? You're going to vote for Biden? Really? I mean, that's just not going to happen. Let's see. Yikes. What does that mean, you guys? I don't know. There is going to be a pro-Trump police and fire rally in my town, and the country government says you can support Trump and the police and fire, only one or the other. There is going to be a pro-Trump police and fire rally in my town, and the county government says you can support Trump and the police and fire, only one or the other. So basically, one of you get to support Trump, but not both of you, I'm guessing. Guns and Gadgets just did a video on the AR-AK pistol. Now with braces, they will need the tax stamp. I know the ATF is trying to do that. Did they act? Oh, I know that they were also being going after by Trump and a few other places. I'm going to have to look that video up before we get off of here. Me too. I liked Ben. Yeah, Ben Carson was awesome. Evening all, says Irish. What's up, Irish? They now list them as any other weapon class. This is the problem with the whole bump stock thing, right? You allowed a government agency to rewrite a law without going through Congress. Whether you had a bump stock or not, now a whole bunch of people are going to be felons. Let's see. Let me see. Guns and gadgets. Yep. We're going to watch this because I want to see it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. We have some breaking news here. I've been watching the Coney Barrett confirmation craziness that's going on right now on the Senate floor. But I just got off the phone with Tim from the Military Arms channel, and he got some information today that is unbelievable if you're not in the game, but if you're in the firearms community, it's to be expected, unfortunately. We're talking about the ATF again. The same ATF that has done a 180 on just about everything. They're also deciding that any braced AR, AK, pistol, similar type weapons are now considered AOWs, any other weapons, and that would put them all under the NFA, subject to a tax stamp. So Tim was contacted earlier by one of the largest attorneys in the firearms industry, and the information that Tim got that absolutely needs to go public. I need you guys to share this video. Please share this video. But the information that we now have is serious. First off, I get a lot of people in the videos I do about the ATF that say Trump's not doing anything. And I am the first to tell you, look up my videos. I criticize President Trump every chance I get when he does anything against the second. In fact, it's some of my best viewed videos with the most hate. So you're not talking
probably why
to
I'm not very popular with the Trump fans.
That number one. If you're new to the channel, understand that, please. But what I'm telling you is that President Trump did sign an executive order to have all these alphabet agencies cease their regulatory practices. He signed an executive order to stop that. But the ATF is thumbing their nose at the president and the DOJ and going around this executive order by saying that their decisions are fluid and not formal. And that's allowing them to get around this executive order and not be held accountable. So there's a lot of stuff in this letter. If a gun is too heavy or the barrel is too long, the ATF will not consider it anymore for importation. That means that no more pistol versions of those rifles will be importable. And a lot of the stuff in this letter is hinging on Joe Biden becoming president. So what would happen? Why is that a thing? Because Joe Biden would rescind that executive order and all this stuff becomes law, and everything that we've been talking about on the ATF the last week on this channel is going to affect us seriously. We also now know that the ATF has been writing private letters and correspondence and messages to companies revoking their approval to manufacture certain weapons. Basically, no new firearms with braces, which means that if a company's manufacturing those, or if you have already purchased one or built one, then you're either possessing or manufacturing any other weapon, which would make you a felon for illegally possessing an AOW and violating the NFA. Tim wrote on his Facebook, and I agree with him. When the bump stock issue happened, a lot of people that are pro 2A said, I don't use a bump stock. It's stupid anyway. It doesn't make a gun accurate. It's just a toy. It wastes ammo. Who cares? It's not the hill to die on. And a lot of us were saying, dude, you don't understand that if we allow the government to do this, to rename a piece of plastic as a machine gun, then where will they stop? Now, in the last couple weeks, we've seen the issue with Q and the pistol brace, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on my videos from people say, wow, why would you use a pistol brace? They're stupid. It's just the person who wants to have an SBR. Yeah, all right, we get it. But however,
shouldn't have to have a law for an SBR anyway.
Every time there's a friggin' infringement. Now, how is this going to be informed? A lot of people I know want to know this, and they're asking the same thing, like, who's going to come do this? It's going to be enforced on the local level, all right? You're going to have cops who don't know what they're doing.
So if I protect my house with a pistol
brace is, who could potentially lock you up for an illegal SBR, and they'll submit that to the ATF. And the ATF is left to go, you know what? Yes, that's an any other weapon, and they didn't have a tax stamp. And that's who's going to enforce the NFA, guys and gals. A majority of the cases that are dealing with the NFA when it's criminal charges are done by the states. What they're ultimately after is they want no more AR pistols. They want no more AK pistols. We've also learned this week that they want universal background checks. Don't forget that the 4473 form recently changed, and all the information on your name and the firearms that you purchased, with a serial number, etc., are all on the front page, and they're going to record that. What's that? That's an illegal registry.
Do they allow that to go on the front page now?
Is way, way beyond their means right now. They need to be real.
Build it yourself.
Fierce. And I need
go sub to Broken Patriot. Get in on his
right now. And
aluminum paperweight
when
contest.
You all forward it, hopefully. Please do. Please forward it. You all need to contact your local representatives. Now, I don't want to hear that. That's not going to work. We need to put the pressure on. We did it with the pistol brace issue, and it was changed. However, they're waiting for Joe Biden to win. And if he wins, we are in for the fight of fights. Believe me when I tell you. If you haven't already, get out and vote accordingly. Vote like your guns depend on it, because they absolutely do. I'll have a link down below so you can figure out who your representatives in Congress are and how to get a hold of them.
Are we still at the ballot box stage?
To get on the ball. It's time to put some pressure on these people. Tell them to reel in the ATF. And it's time to let them know that we the people are sick and tired of their constant infringements. And we the people aren't going away. Tim, I want to thank you, my friend, for getting the information to me and allowing me to bring some of it out here, guys and gals. If you're not following Military Arms Channel, you're crazy. Check him out. He's going to have more on this as time goes by, and he does a hell of a job. Tim, thank you, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow patriots.
All right, so that's it. Oh, boy. The collapse is set. Trump or Biden, but we all know Trump will stay in office. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know. I think we're screwed either way, to be honest, because I don't think Trump is a firearm fan, even though he says he is. He's the one that came out and says, you know, we should take the guns first, due process second. And then when told that that's not what his followers like, he said, well, oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I take that back. It's an election year, obviously. But that's what he thought originally. And you'll know what somebody thinks when they actually say first. So I think that's exactly what he thinks. Man, let's see. Let me find it. I need to get a slingshot just for the poops and the giggles. QL, I'm a noob at this. What is a gums tuck or whatever and the brace?
Talking about a gun stock versus a brace. I started trying to talk about it in the chat a little bit, but please go ahead and let her know. Okay,
well, a stock is an adjustable stock that goes up against your shoulder that you shoulder. A pistol brace is meant to go up against your arm or strap to your arm so that you can hold it like a pistol, and it just gives it stability. But just because that's what it's meant for doesn't mean that's how you have to use it. And it was deemed legal by the ATF back in the Obama administration. And I have seen a lot of them. A lot of people have them. And they're trying to make a whole bunch. And I mean a whole bunch. It was bad enough with the bump stocks. They made a lot of people felons overnight with the bump stocks. They're going to make probably 3 or 4 times that amount felons overnight if they do that to braces. Or if they go after pistols altogether. So get your lowers now. Get your builds going now. And if they do that, if they make that illegal, just put a stock on it. Right? If they're and I told this for people who own bump stocks. If they're going to put you in jail for 10 years for owning a piece of plastic that was perfectly legal to buy just a few days ago and was approved by the ATF and the Obama administration, and now on a whim, they're going to make it where you're going to go to jail for 10 years, you might as well go ahead and get that lightning link, which is just a piece of sheet metal cut in a nice little shape, and throw that into your AR-15, and now you got a fully automatic firearm, assault weapon. I'm demonetized now, right? But you can do that. Why not? It's the same amount of time in jail. Do you want to have 10 years for a bump stock that is wildly inaccurate, or do you want 10 years in jail for something that at least was a fully automatic firearm? If I'm going to go to jail for something, let me go to jail for something that's real. If you're going to send me to jail for having a pistol brace because now it's any other weapon, then I might as well slap a stock on that and just decide, say, screw you. At some point, this whole, I'm glad Guns and Gadgets wants you to go and contact your representatives, and by all means, you should definitely do that. But at some point, we stop needing the ballot box, and we start needing the cartridge box. It's pissing me off, I tell you what. Mass is nuts. The state that freedom got started in is one of the least free now. I agree. Boston, Massachusetts. They would be turning over in their graves. Can you imagine showing the patriots that started this movement against Britain in the first place what this country would become 200 years later? Oh my goodness. This hasn't been what they fought for probably in over 100 years. Because the whole concept of what America should be, what we fought for, what we died to get, flew out the window only probably a few decades after we got it in the first place. And it just progressively got worse and worse and worse. And it's just that really slow boil. And the frog that's in the slow pot of water that's boiling ain't going to get out. And before you know it, you're too damn busy with your day-to-day, your mortgage, your job, your 9-to-5, getting your kids through school. You can't be bothered. You can't be bothered with this kind of stuff because, that's not the American dream. I don't want to have to do something. I'd rather just go on to Facebook or put a square on Instagram that show my activism, not Activision. That's a video game company. All right. Same in Virginia. Mass handgun mags can only hold no more than 10 rounds. Yep. Brace is what you would put on an AR or AK pistol. I'm a noob. I have no clue. I would show you, but apparently I better not. Most stripped lower receivers are bought as a pistol. You technically don't have to worry about that. I thought you did originally, and I guess you can kind of do that. But if you do a strip lower, it doesn't matter how you buy it, as far as I'm aware. The first AR lower I bought ever, it seemed like there was a spot where you could do that. But now, if as long as you designated it that, just don't change it. And it's stupid. That law is stupid anyway, because you can swap a lower with an upper real fast. Real fast. What if Trump is the Antichrist and will build the third temple in Israel and declare himself as God? I can see it, says Warrior for Truth. I didn't vote for him based on his knowledge of all things, but based on his knowledge of running a large corporation and money. Our country is corporations, so it's a good fit. Here's my thing. Warrior for Truth. If Trump is the Antichrist and will build the third temple in Israel and declare himself God, okay, I'm still voting for him. That's going to happen at some point, right? The Antichrist, if not already here, will be here. The mark of the beast, it's coming. You don't get to stop it, right? The prophecy wasn't a warning. George Orwell's 1984 was a warning that we didn't heed. But the biblical stuff, that's not a warning. That's prophecy. That's going to happen whether you want it to or not. The great thing about that is it means that it's almost over and we're almost ready to go home. I hope we get guns in heaven. Not to kill, but I do like to try to hit a hole on a paper target at, a couple 100 yards. Well, they know that Biden-Harris team wants to take away our guns rights. Yep. Warrior for Truth, I don't think he would do that, but I really can't put anything past the realm of possibility. Yeah, we're not soothsayers. We have no idea. What's up, Bri? Yep, at some point we all say, fuck it. Oh, damn it. There goes. Use the hard bad word. Thanks a lot, Bri. Absolutely useless to consistently bend and conform to ever-changing rules. Exactly. At some point, when's enough enough? I tried to be a law-abiding citizen. I tried to be a law-abiding gun owner originally. But when they start changing the rules and making me destroy stuff that I spent money on, good money, hard money, lots of it too. When I got bump stocks, I got them from Fostech. Those are solid aluminum. Those cost $500 a piece. I bought two, one for an AK and one for an AR. So when that law came down, that was $1,000. $1,000 gone. And now you're going to do the same thing with pistols? Wow. Strip lowers are checked off as other? Yeah, I think so. It depends on what you put on it. If you ever put a stock on it, it's considered a rifle. Right? Riddle been listening. Declaration of Independence was written in PA, not look at PA. It's funny too, how many infringements that, shall not be infringed. So many infringements. $500 fine in VA for no mask. Executive order from the Northam. Ooh, wow. Why you guys haven't tarred and feathered his ass yet, I have no idea. I mean, it's getting to that point. It really is. I really hope the people of Virginia get him out as soon as possible. One way or the other. Legally or down the street. Exactly, says Bry. It's amazing how easy folks just bend and do whatever they're told because the government says so. I love that word. Oh, that's a throwback to Kansas Hillbilly Prepper. The government. All right, Barrett was confirmed to the Supreme Court late Monday in a deeply divided Senate. Republicans overpowering Democrats to install presidential Donald Trump's nominee days before the election and secure a likely conservative count majority for years to come. Trump's choice to fill the vacancy of the late liberal icon Ruth Bader Ginsburg potentially opens a new era of ruling on abortion. The Affordable Care Act and even his own election. Democrats were unable to stop the outcome. Now, here's the question. I didn't watch it. I haven't seen, this is the only news that I've got on it. So you tell me, if you guys saw this, did the Dems actually vote or did they take their ball and go home? And was it a unanimous vote? Democrats were unable to stop the outcome. Trump's third justice on the court as Republicans race to reshape the judiciary. Barrett is 48, and her lifetime appointment as the 115th justice will solidify the court's rightward tilt. This is a momentous day for America, Trump said at the primetime swearing-in event on the South Lawn at the White House. Justice Clarence Thomas administered the constitutional oath to Barrett before a crowd of about 200. She will be able to participate in the court Tuesday, tomorrow, after taking the judicial oath administered by Chief Justice John Roberts in a private ceremony at the court. Monday's vote was the closest. Oh, I guess they didn't take their ball and go home. Was the closest high court confirmation ever to a presidential election and the first in modern times with no support from the minority party. The spiking Rona crisis has hung over the proceedings. Vice President Mike Pence's office said Monday he would not preside at the Senate session unless his tie-breaking vote was needed after Democrats asked him to stay away when his aides tested positive for the Rona. The vote was 52-48, and Pence's vote was not necessary. I thought they weren't even going to show up. Yeah, 52 yes, 48 no. Okay, thank you, Broken Patriot. It's amazing how easy... Okay, I read that. Stinger, I would have put them stocks in some PVC pipes and buried them. Well, each person's got to do what they got to do, OMG, that is BS. $500 fine in VA for no mask. Yeah, that is BS. But they know you're getting a stimulus check, so they want some of that. Gerald B., no way I would have destroyed them. they would have been hidden until needed. As I said, if you're going to go to jail, anyway, maybe you should look at making an actual lightning link. If you don't know what a lightning link is, Google it. Lightning, like the lightning that comes out of the sky in the stormy weather. Lightning link, AR-15. I think they even have one for an AK-47. Okay? It's a little piece of metal. If you have any metal work knowledge, you can do it. It takes hardly any time at all. Shoot, I've seen somebody do it with a coat hanger. Now, that coat hanger goes to crap real quick. Probably maybe a magazine, and it's done. But you can do a lightning link. And if you're going to go to jail for 10 years anyway, who needs a toy? If that's what only thing it is. You know, same thing with if they get away with this whole pistol brace thing or whatever, right? Lost in a boating accident. Yep, in the desert. Exactly. That dust. Can I tell you what?
I'm gonna go make a round. Don't freak out. I will yell if there's a problem.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Take the dog with you. Trump likely to replace FBI Wray and CIA director if he is reelected.
Roxy, come.
Diaz. They're pretty easy, too. What's pretty easy?
Come on, Rox. You lazy dog.
All right. If reelected, President Trump may once again seek to clean house by replacing several top military and intelligence officials who have undermined his agenda and his attempts to drain the swamp. According to Axios, FBI Director Christopher Wray, I think it's Rye, CIA Director Gina Haspel, and Defense Secretary Mark Esper would all face the chopping block. Chris Rye, while trying to avoid the political landmines at the FBI that befell his predecessor, James Comey, during the 2016 election, Wray may have stepped in one following the revelations that the FBI had taken possession of the Hunter Biden's laptop in December of 2019. The FBI has had that laptop somehow. How did Giuliani get it from the FBI? That's what I want to know. But somehow the FBI has had that laptop since 2019, or at least all the information on it. 2019, December, almost a full year, and said nothing during the Trump's impeachment that month by House Democrats. The Bureau already had conducted a forensic analysis on before issuing the December 9th, 2019 subpoena for John Paul McIsaacs, owner of the Mac shop in Wilmington, Delaware. After Hunter Biden abandoned the computer at his store, McIsaac examined the files, which appeared to offer evidence that was both incriminating for the Biden family and exculpatory for Trump. Democrats claim that the president had abused power by asking Ukraine to investigate the Biden's corruption in the Burisma scandal, but much of the case hinged on whether such an investigation was justified or simply politically motivated. The FBI ostensibly sought the laptop as evidence in connection with an unrelated money laundering case. It's unknown whether Hunter or Joe Biden was directly implicated in that matter being investigated or whether it remains an ongoing investigation. The FBI's suppression of political relevant information such a crucial time, Trump's impeached 9 days later on December 18, 2019, but was ultimately acquitted. Yes, we know that. Notably, he also testified before Congress that Antifa, the group largely responsible for escalating and perpetuating violence in major cities for months after the Floyd death, was not an organized but an ideology. Yeah, considerable evidence, including prior eyewitness testimony from experts like conservatives undercover journalist Andy Ngo, have outlined Antifa's specific organizational structure, agenda and guerrilla tactics that include blending in with other protesters to instigate and foment violence. But Ray's testimony poignantly sought to placate Democrats who have insisted that Antifa was a myth or a conspiracy theory designed conspiracy theory Antifa is. That's all it is. To undermine peaceful protesters in blue-run cities. He misleadingly lumped together leftist radicals with other anti-government groups to suggest falsely that the greater threat to the country came from the right-wing extremism. Yeah, just blame it on us, for sure. Okay. DS, they're pretty easy too. Yeah, I don't know what that is. You need an M16 bolt carrier and a low shelf lower for it to work, dude. Who doesn't have an M16 bolt carrier that has an AR-15? I mean, I know that there are commercial bolt carrier groups out there. When I first got into building, there were here and there, but who really has it? Everybody that I know has the M16 bolt carrier group. And as far as the lower shelf, dude, I have my own 80%ers. I can drill out what size shelf would you like? You know what I mean? Widen out that rear of those 80s. Yep. The guy from the shop went to Giuliani. And I guess Giuliani went to the FBI. The guy from the shop... Okay, I read that. Yeah, lower, not widen. OMG, you are correct, sir. The PC repair shop made copies of the laptop hard drive. There you go. Come on, man. 34 degrees, light rain, feels like 22. Work is fun tonight. Dude, we had a beautiful day here in the Arizona desert. I think it got up to like the mid-70s. It was so chilly in the morning and in the evening that Riddle Girl had to put on a jacket. Let's see, bundle up. Sounds chilly. Chilly 10 and -6 real feel here. Ooh, that is cold. I am sick of hearing Antifa as a lot longer than 20 years. They have ties to the Nazi party back in the 40s. Go look that up. Yeah. Yeah, they might be anti-fascist, but they're not anti-socialist party from the Nazis. I'm sick of hearing... Okay, I read that. Anyone who bought an M&P AR? There you go. It was nice to... It was wonderful. This is the time of year that it is lovely to live in Arizona. All right. Haspel, the current CIA director, was handpicked by her predecessor, Obama-era Director John Brennan, to run the agency's London bureau. Coincidentally, several of the so-called predicating events that the FBI used to open its Crossfire Hurricane sting operation against the Trump campaign happened under Haspel-Baldwick. Interesting, but Haspel appeared to push back against the suggestion that she is covering for herself and her CIA cronies by refusing to comply with the Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, request to declassify documents in the Obamagate scandal. See, this is why we are supposed to have 3 branches of government. They're supposed to keep each other honest. Checks and balances. However, now we have agencies saying, no, you will not investigate us. No, we will not give that up. What are you going to do about it? Ooh, that's some spoiled kid stuff right there. She has even hinted that she may resign before Trump has the opportunity to fire her. Well, don't let the door hit you. Since the beginning of DNI's push to declassify documents and how strongly she feels about protecting sources connected to those materials, there have been rumblings around the agency that the director plans to depart from the CIA regardless of who wins the election, a source close to her said. Esper, who took over the following acrimonious exit of Jim Mad Dog Mattis, has followed his predecessor's path in publicly undermining Trump's agenda at times. How does this president keep appointing people who don't like him? As Trump declared, he should get Trump supporters like, hey, you got a full set of teeth. Hey, why don't you try the CIA director job for a little while? You know, some guy that's just like head to toe MAGA. Just your average Joe Blow. I mean, they could run it probably just as good. And it would be funny anyway. Esper implemented a policy banning the display of the Confederate flag at bases. Yep, I remember that. You remember that, Irish? Esper also promoted Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the so-called whistleblower who was instrumental in the impeachment crisis after claiming a July 2019 phone call between the Trump and the Ukraine president consisted of a quid pro quo agreement that violated government ethics regulations. He has second-guessed Trump's statement several times about the military's role in dealing with domestic insurrections that have been largely driven by left-wing rioters. So there you go. You got friends in Idaho Springs? Nice. Minus 30 where Warrior for Truth is. Wow.
In Colorado, in the mountains.
Nice. Minus 30 already? It's not even November, man. It's October. Holy cow. I thought Wisconsin was cold. We got like minus 15. And that was enough for me. And I grew up in Arizona, okay? I was born and raised in Arizona. I moved to Wisconsin. First winter there, minus 15 degrees, snow so high that when they shoveled the sidewalks with a snowblower, it was like walking through a trench in World War I. All you saw was people's heads bobbing up when you're driving down the streets. You could see their heads bobbing up and down on the sidewalks because the snowbanks were so darn high. It was crazy. When I went outside for the first time in minus 15, because at the time I smoked. So I went outside to smoke, I almost died. And not from the cigarette, but it felt like somebody was stabbing me right here in the chest with a knife. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, how do people do this stuff? And then I moved back to Arizona 10 years later. It's drizzling in Charleston, West Virginia. I lived in Colorado when I was a small kid, 1 to 10 years old. I remember a blizzard on my birthday in May and playing in the snow with no coat on. You never know. You never know. Good Lord, Warrior. What kind of wind speeds are going on there? How high up in the mountains are you?
Pretty high up.
I would imagine so. Bryce is good. Okay, that's what Bryce said. They are getting some wet, heavy snow going on at the top of the state, but I'm pretty much mid-state. First thing I did when I saw snow is I made a snow angel. I moved from Cali to Rhode Island. That was a shock. Oh, I bet it was. What part of Cali? Southern or northern? It's in the 40s here in Maine. Northern Maine isn't the high 20s or lower 30s. Cool. Y'all looking forward to the winter or no? I guess it depends on where you're at. I've been looking forward to winter for all summer. Pretty much all summer, yes. As soon as it got over 100 degrees, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for winter now. So there you go. Biden staff tells 60 Minutes that he misspoke on the cost of free public college. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden said that the government could provide 4-year college educations for $150 billion, only for his campaign to later admit it would really be closer to double that amount, so $300 billion-ish. During an interview that aired Sunday on CBS 60 Minutes, Biden bragged that the number as a feature of proposed significant institutional changes that would include a 15% minimum tax on corporations, saying it would raise more than $400 billion. I can send every single qualified person to a 4-year college in their state for $150 billion, Biden said. I can make sure every single person who qualifies for community college can go, and we still have a lot of money left over. That's what I mean by significant institutional changes. Well, yeah, you want everybody to get institutionalized, don't you? Because you know who runs those schools. And let's have the conservatives pay for it. Oh, is that a scheme and a conspiracy theory we could go down a rabbit hole on? 60 Minutes noted that organizations like the Tax Policy Center have questioned the validity of Biden's claims that the corporate tax would raise that much money. He's quoted, cost of education was also off the mark according to his campaign. After our interview, Mr. Biden's staff told us he misspoke and that the cost of free public college could be twice as much as he said. CBS O'Donnell said in her voiceover after Biden's claim aired. That was not the first time Biden misspoke over the weekend. He caught himself at a I Will Vote concert virtual campaign event Sunday when he was discussing who he was running against. Is Biden all there? Does he know who he's running against? Because he says, not because I'm running, but because who I'm running against. This is the most consequential election in a long time, Biden said. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're gonna be? 4 more years of George? George. Gonna find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're gonna be in a different world. So he's running against George Bush, I guess. One of the Bushes, maybe? 6,000 feet elevation wind chills. 6,000. You're higher than... Well, up in Ashfork, it was over 6,000, I think. Yeah.
It was close to 6,000.
Close to 6,000, yeah, but we never got that cold. Don't make snow angels in the dog park. Yeah. Southerner... Inglewood. Oh, Southern Inglewood, then LA, then Hollywood. So yeah, you lived in the nice temperature nice part of California. No, I'm a truck driver. Right on. Is that what, right on. Yeah, I drove truck for a while myself. Drove for Schneider. Yeah, looking to get out, go to Texas soon. That's cool. Hope you make the move, man. I'm looking to move myself. I hope that I can do it before next summer. QL says, yeah, the older I get, the less I can stand the cold. Texas is the best state for guns. No, it is not. No, it is not. No, it is not. A lot of people think so, but it is not. I would say... You want to go to a state that has constitutional carry. Arizona does, but I'm getting out of here for a lot of reasons. Technically, if you ever go look at the websites, and I haven't looked at it in the last year or two, but there's like the list of the most friendly gun states out there. Usually Arizona's either 1 or 2, and Alaska's either 1 or 2. So it's us and Alaska, right? And that's because we were constitutional carry. You can go into a gun store, buy a gun, buy ammunition, buy a holster, load. You probably can't load it in front of them, but you can pretty much load that as soon as you're outside the store, put it in your holster, carry it either concealed or open. No waiting, no nothing, right? It's constitutional carry. You don't need a permit. You don't need to ask permission. As far as Texas... You can't open carry, and you can only conceal carry if you have a permit. It's not... I mean, you can carry, but let's not get it misconstrued that Texas is a gun-friendly state. It's pretty sad, actually. Every single time... And we thought about moving to Texas a lot over the last year, and every single time there was something else coming up about anti-freedom stuff going on in Texas, and I just couldn't take it no more. Just couldn't take it. Daryl Watts, Lightning Link. Ooh, Lightning Link. I like Lightning Links.
No, he was asking what it was called, so.
Okay. Oh, yeah, what was the name of the thing? Okay, yep. Okay, I see you, Daryl Watts. Make it fully auto. He was talking about earlier, Lightning something. Yeah, Lightning Link. There you go. There's also, you can also find online kits. Okay, when you buy you can technically buy a fully automatic AR-15 or M16, right? As long as it was made before 1986. Now, as a citizen of America, you are able to buy replacement parts for that, right? Because as long as the lower receiver was made pre-1986 and was deemed a M16 or fully automatic. This goes with all fully automatics, by the way. It has to be 1986 or prior. If you have one of those that costs like $35,000, you got to go through all these years of background checks and tax stamps and all that stuff, right? All that fun stuff. But if you do that, you have a right to replace those parts. You just can't replace the lower, right? So they sell all the replacement parts you could ever want online. including a jig to make a third hole if you need to. If you need to redefine the hole that you already have, obviously, you would only need these parts. I mean, you could buy them now, I suppose, if you're considering buying a fully automatic rifle down in the future and you just want to stock up on a few extra parts here and there. But there are some sites out there where you can buy your kits just in case, you do that later on and you need some replacement parts. It's all sorts of ways, bro. Oklahoma, yes, Oklahoma is concealed carry. Is that correct, Daryl Watts? I'm pretty sure it is. I do have people that live in Oklahoma, Alaska, and South Dakota. Yes, we're actually looking at moving to South Dakota. And I don't believe it's constitutional carry. But it
is for residents only.
Oh, constitutional carry is for residents only, says Real Girl. And it's pro-freedom in a lot of ways. Why can't North Dakota break 1 million in population? Winter. Exactly. Why not? My cousin says it's the best state for guns. Because people who don't know the gun... People who don't know a lot about the gun culture and what's going on in the gun world think Texas is good for guns. It's a very popular misnomer, extremely popular. You would really have to know and really look into guns and know the different states and what the laws are before you would even realize that. But no, Texas is pretty. It's like in the middle of the amount of states. It's not even top 10, not even top 15 states. Bri, I'm surprised that you think that they would be in the house a lot making tons of offsprings. I missed that one.
The people in North Carolina, it's so cold, they wouldn't leave the house very much, so you think they'd just be in the house making offspring.
LOL, we have 4. You have 4 of something. North Dakota is constitutional always. Also, really, I did not know that. Come to Oklahoma, yeah, constitutional. Yeah, Oklahoma's constitutional carry. We have both CCS and you can get your CCW here in Arizona, and it gives you a few extra benefits, like you don't have to do the background checks every time you buy a gun. You just show them your CCW permit, and therefore you don't have to do the background check. I don't know how that works. I've never had a CCW permit. I will take advantage of my constitutional carry no matter what. Texas will secede from the Union. They've been talking about it for a long time. A long time. Just check. Texas even isn't even in the top 5 of gun states. Utah is, though. Yeah. All right. And I really only want to go to constitutional carry state, although SD is being considered due to company's home office there, and that they never shut nothing down. Supervisor's husband has the C19. I suddenly don't want to work with her anymore. My boss is the C20. Ooh, that's the new one. You can open carry if you have a permit in Texas. Yeah. Have you seen the permit that you need to get in order to do that? People who want to reenact old Western stuff in order, have the 45 Colt revolver. Believe me, that the last time I checked, maybe that changed, but the last time I checked, that was really bad. Also, I'm going to put it on the list of choices to move to. I'm waiting 2 more years and then I'm out. Nice. Good luck. LTC, license to carry. Yes. As November 1st, 2019, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Idaho. Okay, yeah. Alaska and Arizona swap every year, it seems like. VA has open carry and shall issue. Yeah, I'm not a fan of shall. I'm not a fan of may issue either, obviously, but shall issue. Don't like it. Let's see. I don't like having to have to CCW it. Texas is purple. So is Arizona, unfortunately. And it's a great gun state now, but as I said, it's changing a lot here. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think it will be for very long. That's the best thing about Maine constitutional carry here in CCW. Okay, do you have constitutional carry and CCW or what? Because can't remember if Maine had constitutional carry. I thought I know you said it's a conservative state, but still you got Democrats running it. There's more guns in Texas than Arizona. Yes, because Texas is about 4 times the size of Arizona. Just because it has a lot of guns doesn't make it gun friendly, if you understand that logic. Washington state firearm confiscation law found unconstitutional. Earlier this year, in a ruling of first impression in Washington state, the Kitsap County District Court decided that the state compulsory firearms surrender laws violated the 4th and 5th American Amendments and the analog provisions in state constitution. What about the 2nd Amendment? In our constitutional system of government, individuals have rights that the government and its agents, including courts, must respect. Among those rights are the right to be free from compelled self-incrimination under the 5th Amendment, the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures under the 4th, and their counterparts under Washington's Constitution. To appreciate the ruling, it is necessary to understand that the underlying statutory framework, Washington state courts issuing certain protection orders in a civil criminal case have the authority or are required to also order that the restrained person retrieve and immediately surrender to law enforcement all firearms and dangerous weapons that the person possesses or has control over, as well as any concealed pistol license, CPL. As soon as the order is issued, the restrained person becomes prohibited from possessing, acquiring, or accessing firearms and weapons and is ineligible for a CPL. Excuse me. Within 5 days of the order, a restrained person must file with the court a written proof of surrender in a prescribed form under oath, or alternatively, a declaration that he or she has no guns, weapons, or CPL to surrender. The state laws direct further that the court must verify timely and complete compliance with orders to surrender weapons by holding a compliance hearing as soon as possible. At this hearing or any other hearing where compliance with an order to surrender weapons is addressed. The law demands that the restrained person attend and provide testimony under oath verifying their compliance. Wow. If there is any cause to believe that a restrained person is not in compliance, the court may issue a surrender search warrant to search any locations where firearms and dangerous weapons are readily believed to be and confiscate this property. It is a crime to fail to comply with a surrender order, and the offender may also face sanctions for contempt of court. A separate state law makes it a felony for the person to possess a firearm during any period of time that the person was subject to that court order. Non-compliance by any out-of-custody pretrial defendant would also be a violation of release conditions, resulting in the revocation of these conditions and confinement until trial. The challenge to this law arose out of a misdemeanor charge for 4th-degree assault, the lowest level of assault brought against Zachary Marshall. Marshall has no previous criminal history, and there is no indication in the ruling that Marshall had ever used or threatened to use a firearm or a dangerous weapon during the alleged assault. Before any trial on the merits, the court at Marshall's arraignment issued 2 orders. The first order was a domestic violence no contact order because the charge involved a woman who qualified as an intimate partner and prohibited any contact between Marshall and the woman. State law mandates that the court issuing such a no contact orders also impose a second order, a firearm surrender order. Wow. Washington State, isn't that great? Okay, yes, we have both. CCW gives us the right to carry in a bunch of states. Yeah, I guess that's the same thing here as in Arizona. Some states will recognize it. Here's the thing. You already have a constitutional carry permit. It's called the Constitution. I don't have the Arizona CCW. I never went to get it. I thought about it. I still think about it once in a while. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to stop me. It's one of those things. If I need it, I want to have it. I'm not going to try to jump. I am tired. I am tired of trying to be a law-abiding gun owner. And so now I don't call myself a law-abiding gun owner anymore. I am now considered a constitutional carrying gun owner now. And that is the hill that I'm going to die on. And if I get in trouble, then so be it. If I get them all taken away, then so be it. You don't think I can do what I need to do? All right. Civil is looming. Will there even be an individual state then or regions? I just took a Texas LTC class. It's easy, open or concealed. No background check, just 4473. Okay. Depends on the area. I think big cities like Chicago, New York City, maybe even Vegas and Phoenix will be under martial law for a while. I am saving for the first gun. Wow. How much should I spend? Well, it depends on what your first firearm is going to be. Is it going to be a pistol, a shotgun, or a rifle? And I will tell you how much it should be. Rural areas may not see anything at all. Why I am where I am. Are you wanting that? Yeah, there you go. Rural areas will be the worst. Handgun. Handgun, probably $600 or less. There you go. You can get them cheaper than that. You can get them anywhere between, I'd say anywhere from $300 to $600. I would try to budget that. People will flee the city for the country. Masada, $400 pistol. Oof, I haven't heard of that one. Inside the waistband, I'm guessing. IWI? I don't know. Let's see. Are you wanting something that you can carry on your hip? Yada yada. Okay. Everybody's giving suggestions. Cool. Always wanted one, but financially I'm much better now. Cool. Sawed-off shotgun. Best for close encounters. Yeah. Also totally illegal unless you do your $200 tax stamp. Which you can do. And if you can pass a background check, you can get the tax stamp for it. I got a suppressor, right? One suppressor. I feel all special. I got a suppressor. I like talking to them. And it's a legal one. You know, I went through the legal ways. I paid my $200 tax stamp. I waited the 8 or 10 months that I had to wait. And I finally got it. And I'm glad I have it. And it's probably going to be better than any Form 1 that I could have put together myself or solvent traps. Right? And it works for what I want. However, now I'm worried I might use it and all of a sudden the brace that it may or may not have currently will get me in trouble for something else. I conceal carry in states that I don't recognize my SHP. I always conceal carry most of the time. That's a stupid statement. I do open carry once in a while, especially recently. F the tax stamp. There you go. Thank you for that, RG. I have thin wrists, so I can see that being an issue for me. 9mm. Oh, there's so many great 9mm for small hands. You can't go wrong. I mean, you can go Glock, but if it's your first, maybe you want a safety, right? They have 1911s in 9mm. Riddle Girl has a Springfield XDM 9mm, which is really nice for her. I don't personally like that one just because I like to take my guns completely apart and clean them, and I took hers completely apart.
And it was a nightmare.
And I'll never do it again. That gun, I don't know why they made it so overcomplicated, but they did. I mean, you look at a Glock and you're like, this is easy. I can completely disassemble a Glock. And then I try to disassemble hers, and I'm like, there's so many extra parts they don't need in here. What the heck? 18.5-inch factory barrel for Mossberg 500s. I could save up and buy up to $600. I'm telling you, man. Or lady. 300 $600. Yeah. You can go real nice for $600. I think Riddle Girl's one was like $550-ish. Glock is about $550, right? But like the first gun I ever owned was a Ruger P95. That was a beefy gun. That was a big boy. But I think it was only $350. Wasn't that expensive. I wouldn't go with a high point because that's a brick. And that's like $150 to $200 firearm. But yeah, there's a lot of good choices there. Use a bow and arrow. That will use when ammo runs out. Yeah, for a while. But the bow needs restringing. You have to have wax all the time. And then what happens when the arrow splits? You You can't just, unless you're using a longbow with wooden arrows, right? Because if you're using a compound bow, you're going to need to have them fiberglass arrows, and they only last for so long. Meanwhile, I can reload because I can make my own bullets. And the only thing I don't make my own self is primers and powder, which technically I know how to make powder, and I could probably make primers, but let's get off of that. Seeking power in Jesus' name, Trump sparks a rise of patriot churches. Knoxville, Tennessee. The new congregation is gathered in a barn in Lenoir City, Tennessee, with a roof that has a 60-foot American flag painted on it. And they are praying for Trump landslide. I'm not happy with the Trump loving. But standing in a circle, the dozen or so men and women, young and old, lay their hands on the pastor, Ken Peters, as he raises their request to God. He prays for that communism and socialism and transgenderism and homosexuality and abortion will not have their way in this land. Yes, Lord, someone cried. He prays that the nation Christian roots will remain, that the Church of Jesus will be a restraining power. God, this nation is a miracle for you, Peter continues. You rescue us, and you gave us our independence for a purpose. We talked about if God wants you to get independence, like if God was okay with getting independence from England back in the 1700s or not. Because in the Bible it says that you shouldn't rise up against governments because God implemented those governments. So would God actually be happy that the Revolutionary War took place? Who was on the right side of God in that point? This is a Patriot Church, part of an involving network of non-denominational startup congregations that say they want to take the country back for God, while most white conservative Christian churches might only touch on politics around election time and otherwise choose to keep the focus during worship on God, politics, and religion, are inseparable here. The Tennessee congregation is one of 3 Patriot churches that formed in September. The other 2 are near Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. There you go. There's a Virginia one. And Spokane, Washington. And Peter says he's talking with several more pastors of existing churches who wants to join them. The 50 or so people in attendance may identify as born again or just generic Bible-loving Christians. Peter's flock is not affiliated with a specific denomination, but it does have a distinct identity. The Patriot churches belong to what religion experts describe as loosely organized Christian nationalist movement that has flourished under President Trump. In just 4 years, he has helped reshape the landscape of American Christianity by elevating Christians once considered fringe, including Messianic Jews. Those are Jews who believe in Jesus. How is that fringe? I don't get that. How is that fringe? That's basically Jews who believe in Jesus, that he is our Lord and Savior. Preachers of the prosperity gospel and self-styled prophets. At times, this made for some strange bedfellows, but the common thread among them is a sense of being under siege and a belief that America has been and should remain a Christian nation. From his lectern during the worship service, Peter rails against perceived attacks on the First Amendment freedoms, decrying government mandates and calling masks face diapers. I love this guy. I love this guy. How nostalgia for white Christians American drove so many Americans to vote for Trump. Having launched the Patriot Church outside Knoxville, Tennessee on the weekend of September 11th, he decries that a Christian faith in America is under attack. BLM isn't being powered by the Holy Spirit. Antifa isn't being powered by the Holy Spirit. They can't save this land, Peter says. The only one organization that has a shot at saving America is the Church of Jesus Christ. For many churchgoers in suburban Knoxville, the political boldness in worship is a breath of fresh air. They complain that social media restricts their free speech, and they fear government-mandated vaccines. And whether Trump wins or loses, religious experts believe these Americans are building powerful networks that are expected to endure long after Trump has left the White House. You know, the SDAs have preached for a long time. that in the Bible it says there will be one final church. One final church that's going to be the one that actually delivers God's word. And they always thought, it's going to be us. It's the SDA church. We're God's favorite. We're the final church that's actually going to spread the truth. Really? Just because you think that, going to church on Saturday is going to be much better for you? That's the main thing, right? That's the main difference between Seventh-day Adventists and normal Christian churches. There's a few other small differences. We believe the dead don't know anything, that they don't go up to heaven, that they just stay in the ground until Jesus comes back. That's one thing that we believe that a lot of people don't, right? But that's pretty much it. The seventh day being Sabbath, and the dead stay in the ground until Jesus' second coming. That's going to be the truth that you speak at the end times, or is it going to be this kind of truth? I'm curious. It's starting up, and we can all see the writing on the wall, especially if you're a believer. This looks a lot like a lot of stuff that's in the end time stuff, right? I'm not going to go into that too much, but since 2016, much attention has been drawn to the 80% of white evangelicals who voted for Trump, and experts say that the support is best understood in the context of the Christian nationalism. Sociologist Samuel Perry, co-author of a new book, Taking America Back for God, says no other factor better predicts a vote for Trump than adherence to a Christian nationalist ideology. Poll data shows it's also a stronger predictor of Americans' attitudes about race, gender, Islam, family, sexual issues, and mask wearing than traditional political ideology. More than 1/3 of Americans say this country has always been and is currently a Christian nation. And 40% of Americans agree that God has granted the United States a special role in human history, according to the Public Relations Research Institute. So that's all I'm going to read on that. I really don't like little guns. Derringers are cute and all, but I love my 9mm. There you go. The smaller the firearm, the more recoil it's going to have. Riddle Girl had a Ruger LC9, which is a real chamber. Then I would suggest you get a firearm with a safety. If you're comfortable with carrying with a round in the chamber, just make sure you get a good holster and don't mess with it, right? Understand basic gun safety and treat it as it's loaded, because it will be. It's not going to shoot you in the butt or anything like that, as long as you don't mess with it. And you have a quality holster, right? But for me, I wanted one without a safety, because when the time comes and I might have to use it, I don't want to fiddle. Now, I have a brand new 1911, and I absolutely love this 1911. I don't really want to use it for self-defense, just because it's like my Safe Queen. This is the one I always wanted. This is an expensive 1911 for me. It's not the most expensive 1911 out there. It's not even close. But for me, this was a very expensive firearm, but it does have a safety on it, right? So I would have to learn how to use that. And I do carry that once in a while, and I've practiced with it here and there. But, the Glock is just nice. You don't have to worry about the safety. Yes, you do, bro. I've made it my vid.
Push-ups.
Push-ups.
Push-ups for suicide, prevent suicide.
Oh, yeah. I remember that going around.
Yeah.
And, in fact, you were talking about that. Oh, you're calling me out, aren't you?
No, Zeus was calling out Bri.
Dude, I can't do a push-up to save my life. I couldn't do one. When I was big, it looked like I had big guns, man. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, muscle for days, right? Now, a little graphic warning. What you're about to see is kind of gross. If you take out all the extra skin, there's not much there. But back when I was fully fluffed, it looked like I had some muscles. Now I'm buffering. Am I still buffering?
It's better now. It was just YouTube though. Like D-Live didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, D-Live is the place to be. If you're not watching me there, maybe you should. I don't buffer there as much. My church is a Patriot church. Right on. It's just stupid YouTube. D Live is fine. Make a D Live account. Yeah, if you want, because if I ever get booted off of here, I'll be on D Live, and I stream at both platforms at the same time. We don't social distance, and no one is wearing a mask at my church. Safety is between your ears. Got to keep it polished up. Like my shirt? Yeah, that's pretty badass. Okay. The gun I carry 70% of the time has a safety and has never been turned on. Really? I always have this one. On. Even when I carry it, and I carry it in a Serpa holster. That's why it's got scratches. Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. It's got scratches because of the Serpa holster. So I need to send this back to get refinished because that bothers me. That bothers me a lot. But I carry this with the safety on when I carry it just because this trigger breaks like glass, and it breaks real easy. And you know what? I'm just gonna carry it with the safety on. All right. God bless you all. Kisses from Brazil. Right on, man. Thank you for joining. I guess you're out, but I really do appreciate you stopping on by. All right. And lastly, elections may impact near-term action in the gold and silver market. You know I like my gold and my silver. Metals broke out earlier in the year because there has likely never been so many fundamental reasons to buy it. We've seen economic turmoil, political strife, social unrest, a $3 trillion federal deficit, and a dollar weakened by fiscal and monetary stimulus all happening at once. How the markets finish the year will depend on whether these conditions persist. The near-term bearish scenario for metals would probably have something in common with 2016. Donald Trump wins and investors feel more confident. They could focus on buying risk assets and they could be less motivated to buy safe havens. This time around, however, the election is not likely to put an end to uncertainty. The far left would have to accept a Trump victory without erupting into widespread social unrest, and the fear surrounding the C-19 would need to subside. In such an environment, the liquidity markets could rally and the Fed may not have to inject more monetary methadone. Investors could rationalize multi-trillion-dollar deficits and expect widespread unemployment will diminish. The near-term bear case for precious metal hinges on the restoration of general investor confidence. If they can see 2021 being a better year, then demand for physical metal could wane, as it did after Trump's first victory 4 years ago. If it does, I don't know. I like converting, right? I try not to play, oh, gold is up, gold is down. I try not to. I do. I'm not perfect, right? If the market comes down because the economy somehow appears to get better, that's going to suck. But at the same time, I got to remind myself, I am not investing in gold and silver. I am converting the money that they give us that has absolutely nothing backing it into something that has been considered money for thousands of years. And that when the dollar crashes, and it will crash eventually, then I will have something of actual value that I have purchased with the money that had supposed value at the time and now has none. The bull case for metals lies in continued or escalating uncertainty. Gold and silver investors will be highly motivated should Joe Biden win the election. God help us all. They will anticipate higher taxes, more economy crushing lockdowns, and even more debt-funded bailouts and spending. Regardless of the outcome, Americans could be even more polarized as social unrest escalates. An even more contentious debate on how to respond to the ongoing C-19 pandemic could ensue. President Biden would lead an effort to close more schools and businesses and further limit gatherings using the heavy-handed of the federal government. In this scenario, and home of the land of the free. Land of the free! Your land of the free, home of the brave, or land of the fee, home of the slave, as High Impact Flicks says it. I don't know, what do you guys think? Gold and silver, have you thought of it? Have you bought any of it? Is that just me? I carry a gun everywhere. Okay, yeah, me too. I applaud you for that, man. Exactly. You don't get to pick. You do not get to pick the time or the place where evil is going to meet you in the face. You best be prepared at all times. If I could carry in the shower, I probably would. I've seen people actually get those food saver bags and food saver bag a Glock and then put like a hole in the part that's not, sealed and hang that from their shower head just in case. I'm not there yet, but yeah. God bless all kisses. Okay, I read that part. I like scratches. You like scratch? I can't. I don't know, man. On my other guns, I don't mind scratches, but this is the one that I've been wanting for years, bro. Years. And it's an all stainless. I didn't think a piece of plastic could scratch a stainless steel gun so easily. Maybe if it was aluminum, but I mean, it's 100% stainless. That's why I got it, because I wanted a stainless gun. Church in Waldo County, Maine was a super spreader. They had like 56 cases and put the county schools into internet classes. Wow. How many of them died? So before the show ends, if you have little ones or teens, please be careful with them on the net. Yeah, I know most know, but found out about a site called the Red Room, and also an AVI domain that has videos of children, women being murdered. They also have tiers that teens are paying to see all kinds of gruesome and terrible things. Most accounts are foreign. One was actually from Brazil. Wow. I haven't heard of that one, QL, but thank you for telling us about it. My child now is 19, so I don't have to worry about her anymore. I've already screwed her up enough. I don't know. I think mostly good. I raised her mostly good. There are, I'm sure if you look back, there's always things you could have done better, right? My Walther has a 2-pound trigger and no safety. Wow, that's nice. I don't know how. I've never weighed mine. I would say it's right around 3, maybe 4 on the 1911. My Glock 30 trigger is really nice. Really nice. I've worked on it a lot. I got the connector, the ghost connector, and I polished everything. And that is the smoothest Glock trigger I've ever had. In fact, my friend Glocker Bob, who has Glocks, said my trigger is the best he's ever pulled. I've heard of the Red Room. It's not only site out there, though. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. But as I said, thank you very much for warning anybody in the chat that might have children still. 800,000 children are reported missing each year. That's more than 2,000 a day. And a lot of them go into the sex industry. It's disgusting. Because of the Rona, lots of children and teens are going in there just spreading info, because I had 2 teens with suicidal thoughts. Man, that's messed up. So you have to deal with that. Supporting teens with those thoughts has got to be scary and so hard. Get them into something. I don't know if you're religious or not, but if you are, then there's great programs that have something to do. They need something to do. They're spending too much. Take this for whatever advice you want to take. I mean, I don't know your situation. I don't know your kids. I don't know any of that, right? My opinion, though, is a kid who's having suicidal thoughts has got something going on at school. You could either pull them out of school and do homeschooling. That's an option. I'm not saying you're going to do it or you should do it, but maybe consider it. And second of all, get them into activities that's actually fun with good people, right? If you're into religious stuff, then, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or whatever version of your church has something like that. Like for the SDAs, it was Pathfinders, but it's the same thing as the Boy Scouts, basically. But get them into those kind of activities, after school activities, whether you homeschool them or not, and get them into those activities. Get them away from their phone. A lot of the reason why kids are suicidal is because that is the way that they're conditioned in school, their friends. Shoot, the music out there. A lot of these new songs are making suicide sound glamorous. So, yeah, you got to get them out of that. You got to get them away from their phones, away from the people they're hanging out with. Get them involved in other activities. That's my best advice. OMG says, I carry 100% of the time. I thought you already said that. RG, I help my community, not my children. I sleep with a 9 under my pillow just in case. You should see my bedside. I have everything. I don't even know what I'm picking. I've got the Comrade, which now could be a problem. I have the 300 Black, which now could be a problem. I have the Kansas Hillbilly Prepper Rifle, which is probably the most legal thing I have right now. I have the AK-47 with the black tips, just in case. Then there's a knock at the door or a no knock at the door. You know what I'm saying? And then I have both pistols, the Glock 30 and the 1911. A couple 22s. It's pretty much all right there, ready to go. I don't cuddle that Desert Eagle at night. Yeah. Desert Eagle, that would be cool. I don't have one of those. And my 50th, a 50 AE, I'd take that. It's about the Desert Eagle is about the same as my 1911 is in far as price. At least last time I checked, the base model anyway. One of my kids moved to New Jersey, 16, thinks he's a girl now. Wow. Sorry to hear that. I don't know, man. I don't even know. Mine doesn't, but mine thought she was a lesbian.
For a while.
For a while. Now she's married to a guy. Yeah, it's a dreamer. And he might get put back into Mexico, and then she might move with him because, she was brought up to, go wherever her husband goes. I don't know. As far as that, though, man, I wish you all the luck, Zeus. I worked on my Walther's trigger, and I hate Glocks. I can understand that. But you know what? A Glock is better than a High Point. However, when I first got the 1911, and I was carrying it a lot because it's the new one, and obviously you love the new one more. And so I was carrying it a lot, and I was holding it a lot and practicing with it a lot. And then I went back to the Glock, and I was like, holy cow, this thing's a brick. And it was the first time I really ever said that, because I had the P95 from Ruger, which was a lot bigger than the Glock, to be honest. On that that's harsh. I'm sorry, Zeus. Okay. And sounds like new Faces of Death. Yeah, I remember watching Faces of Death when I was a kid. Bri says, sounds like... Oh, I read that. Bri, that's our generation. It was Faces of Death. They had live streams. Well, I mean, YouTube was allowing beheadings. I don't know if they still do. Probably not, but they were for a long time. When I was growing up, I watched the Faces of Death stuff. Didn't faze me. It fazed me a lot. A lot. I did not like that. I don't know. I watched a lot of horror, a lot of Freddy, Jason, all that, all the slasher films. That was fine because I wanted to be in Hollywood. I wanted to be a person who did visual effects in Hollywood when I was a kid. I've done a lot of fun stuff over the years in Halloween, and I had a great time making some of my daughter's Halloween costumes and stuff like that because that was something I was always passionate about. Never did it. Not professionally anyway. And so I got that. But when you're watching Faces of Death and you know what's real, oof, I did not like that. I am not a fan. Have patience and love even through we know what that is all happening. FFA 4H. There you go. 4H. That's a good one. My sister did that when she was a kid. All right, cool. Now, before I go, there are links in the descriptions below. So if this is your first time, make sure to go check those out. First and foremost, the first link is Adam Lawson's Bless. That's the song that comes on before I come on live. If you heard it and you like it, that's the link to go find it. And he's got other songs as well that you might like if you like that one. Next is all the causes I believe in and support. We have Justice for Cannon. Cannon was the 5-year-old boy who was shot in the head in his front yard by his neighbor. But you don't see that on the news because the neighbor was black and the kid was white. And once again, I don't have that. I keep saying I'm going to put that in there. Can you find me that link real quick of that other story?
Send it to you a billion times.
Send it to me one more, will you? 1,000,000,001. Kyle Rittenhouse. If you think Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself and was legally... if you think he defended himself legally, there is a link down below that will take you to his lawyer's page where you can donate directly to his legal fund. Ryan Whitaker was a Phoenix man who was shot and killed by police in the back while he was getting down on his knees and raising his hands above his head. You won't hear about that story because he was white and the cops were white, but it wasn't a black man. There's a lot of video evidence on that, by the way. If you want to know more about that story, there is a link for Justice for Ryan Whitaker. It's a Facebook page. And if you want to donate to him, he does have a GoFundMe in his family has a GoFundMe in his name. Next, find our Missing in Action. ProjectRecover.org is an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members and returns their remains to their families. And lastly, Rally Point Irish. My good friend Irish USMC vet here on YouTube is trying to set up a location in Tennessee where veterans can come and live room and board free while learning a new skill like farming, blacksmithing, or gunsmithing. Next is all the different ways that you can support my content if you so choose to do so. If you don't want to support my content monetarily, leaving a like, subscribing, or sharing the video is a very good way to share or to support my channel without using monetary monies. Okay, and let me go ahead and copy this link. I'm going to put it in the chat, I believe, if I can find the chat. So this link right here is to a news story of an Ohio boy, 4 years old, died in his mother's arms after a gunman invaded their home in a targeted attack, shot up a whole bunch of family members, but killed a 4-year-old boy. You're not seeing this a lot in the news because, once again, the perpetrator was of color. Okay. And next is all the different places that you can follow me. I have a BitChute channel. I haven't uploaded to it in quite a while, but if my YouTube does get taken down, that's where the videos will be. The DLive, though, is where my live streams will be. Parler is where I'm at if Twitter goes down, and I do post when I go live there. YouTube, if you're watching me on DLive, I am also on YouTube. Facebook is Riddle Girl's Facebook because I don't really do Facebook, but she does talk about this channel and this chat and also other political stuff. Twitter is where you can find out when I'm going live and sometimes some personal stuff that I post. So there are the links. Thank you very much for those. Let me go ahead and check the chat one more time. Wish I was inside sleeping. Oh, well, I hope I can talk you to sleep. I would love to start a community center so kids and adults can come and have groups and classes. That would be fun. I think helping people is probably one of the most rewarding things you can do here on this earth. I really do. LOL at my cat all sprawled out. I would, story of Ron Sweeney. Yep.
Rowan Sweeney, yeah.
Okay, so you had posted that. Okay.
Yes.
And I reposted it. Let's see. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Zeus. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Stay safe. Much respect. Thank you for all the advice. Hey, man, it's free advice. It might not be worth a lot, but it's free. So, I have a Walther PPQ Q5 steel frame. I've always looked at the Walthers. I've never really bought one, but I have never heard anything bad about a Walther. I don't know. It's just like, ooh, I got a Walther. Yeah, for me, maybe it's the name that I don't like. I don't know. Beware, there's a non-official donation site for Rowan Sweeney's family. Okay.
No, there's no official donation.
Oh, there's no official. Sorry.
So anybody who says they're collecting for them is lying.
Okay. So there is no. So we can spread the story.
Right.
But see, that's causes I believe in support, but there's no way to support it. So I'm not gonna put it in the causes I believe in support, but we've covered it a few times now. Let me know if they do get an official GoFundMe and that we can help them out. Polishing my AK right now. Right on, warrior. Nice. What kind of AK? I got a Polish underfolder. And it's it's so nice. I love my AK. And it was a Century Arms thing. It wasn't like a really expensive. I think I got it for like $550 back in the day. Bride says, Zeus, hang in there, brother. Yep. All right, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. Make sure to check us out again tomorrow night, same time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I believe, I don't remember the other times, but it's going to be in the end screen that comes up after I go off air. So check those times. But that was basically 2 hours ago. So we've been on this for a while. A lot of good comments. Until then, though, make sure to keep a close eye on your family. Watch out for that government. And try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world that we find ourselves living in. And cheers, says Wild Man. All right, guys. Until tomorrow night. Peace.